My dear students, in our previous class, we discussed the biological evolution of human being, and we had shown that through the different stages, the evolution of human being had taken place from the stage of a mammal to the modern human. And it took millions and millions years to undergo through the process of development. Now, in today's class, we shall discuss the different stages through which the evolution of human being had taken place. Around 36 to 24 million years ago, a human-like creature originated in the earth, which is named as primates. From the primates, a group attained a sort of development and reached to the stage of hominoids. From the stage of hominoids, some more development took place and the human being attained the stage of the hominids. Now, what are the difference between the hominoids and the hominids? The hominids had the larger brain than the hominoids. They had less heavy jaws than the hominoids. Their teeth were less sharper than the hominoids, and in the stage of hominids, there was the beginning of bipedalism. The hominoids were mainly the quadrupeds. That means they used to walk both on feet and hands. And at the time of the hominids, they started walking on feet. They did not use, or hardly they used, the hands for the purpose of walking. Now, this kind of development took place from the stage of hominoids to hominids. And both of these kinds were actually the apes, but the stages took place a little bit development from one stage to another stage. Now, from the total as a whole, both the hominoids and hominids group as a whole was denoted by the term hominidae. From the stage of the hominid, there took place some more development, and the hominids were developed to the stage of Australopithecus. What is meant by Australopithecus? The term Australopithecus is taken from two Greek and Latin words. The first part of the word austro is taken from the Latin word austral, means southern, and pithecus, this part, is taken from the Greek word pithekos, means ape, and combined together the term Australopithecus is originated, which means the southern apes. So Australopithecus were also a kind of apes, but they had larger brain than the hominids. They had less heavy jaws than the hominid, less sharp teeth than the hominids, and in their turn, bipedalism became more common. Now, these developments were always denoted by the changes I had referred just now. At the time of the Australopithecus, the human being used to live on trees, but their attachment to the trees became restricted. They used to live on trees, but they started living on the grounds also. As a result, there came about some changes in their physical feature. For example, they had previously the long forelimbs because they used to hang themselves on the branches of the trees, for which they needed the long forelimbs, and the forelimbs and legs were almost had the same length, and their hands were long. But now, since they had restricted their habit of living on trees, their forelimbs started to become shorter. They had curved hands. This was also needed for hanging themselves on the branches of trees. And now, at the time of Australopithecus, the hands also lost their curved shape, and it had become shorter, and legs started to become stronger because the bipedalism had become more common, and they used to cover long distances on feet by this time. From the stage of the Australopithecus, they attained the stage of the Homos. This is also a stage of development. And here also the difference is found in the larger brains, less heavy jaws, more upright posture, more common bipedalism, and their habit of living on the ground. These were the point of differences which separated the Australopithecus from the Homos. At that stage, there came about a change in the entire atmosphere of the world. The world underwent through a stage of glaciation, and the entire world became covered with snow, and it is known in history as the Ice Age. There came a great change in respect of flora and fauna of the world. All the big trees started to die because rainfall decreased, weather became very dry, and the big trees of the world, which covered the world for so long, they started to die because they needed enough rainfall and water for their survival. And on the other hand, when the big trees died, the world started to be covered with grassy land. As a result, what happened? All the Australopithecus who lived on trees, they loved to live on trees, they needed trees for their survival, they started to be extinct. And the Homos, who had achieved a new stage of development from the Australopithecus, they could manage to survive from in this changed climatic condition, because they had restricted their living on trees, and therefore they could manage to survive in the changed atmosphere. So from that stage, the Homos had Australopithecus, they started to be extinct, but don't think that all the Australopithecus became extinct, because still the Australopithecus are there. They exist in a very few number in the dense jungle of Africa. And the homos who could manage to survive, they attained certain stages of developments. At first, they attained the stage of the Homo habilis, then they attained the stage of the Homo erectus. At that time they became almost entirely the upright man, and lastly the stage of Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens are the final stage, which is the stage of the wise man or the thinking man. And curiously enough, fossils of Homo habilis, that means the first development from Homo, is found in the various sites of Africa and Asia only. For example, in Ethiopia at Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, we find the fossil of Homo habilis. Then we also find the fossil of Homo habilis at Kenya in Africa, then in some places of Turkana in Asia, and in some places of Java in Asia, or in some other places of Asia and Africa too. And the fossils of the early men were found in Europe and America, but they were dated much later, not before 1.8 million years ago. For example, such fossil of Homo sapiens we find at Germany in Heidelberg city, and this particular fossil is named Heidelbergensis. Usually the fossils are named after the place where it is found. For example, the last fossil that I referred to in the last lecture, and there we had referred about the Neanderthal man, which is named after the place Neander, which is there in Germany. So in this way, the differences came from one stage to another in respect of the brain size, in respect of the heavier jaws, in respect of the jaws, in respect of the shape of the teeth, in respect of their bipedalism, in respect of their upright posture. Now, when the human being freed themselves from quadrupedalism, actually the developments became easier. For example, at the stage of Homo, or at the stage of Homo habilis, when bipedalism became more common, what happened? Human beings got their hands free. They used their hands for carrying babies. They used their hands for using stones as tools for the purpose of hunting. Gradually they started using hands for tool making by shaping stones in the shape of the tools. All these were done by what capacity? By the capacity of bipedalism. Since they had started walking only on feet, their hands became free and they started using hands for other purposes, and the developments took place in a very steady form. Now, we have seen that the earlier developments of human being had taken place in Asia and Africa mainly, so far as our information goes, because the earliest fossils are found only in these two continents, and in the other continents the fossils which are found are of much later date. So a question arises that did the human being originated only in Africa or in Asia? or originated all over the world in a similar manner? The two theories are given by the scholars in this respect. The first one is the regional continuity model. The profounders of this theory, they view that the homos or the Homo sapiens evolved in everywhere in the world in a similar manner, but their stages of developments were different. For example, the developments of human being, they attain the different stages in different rates in Africa and in Europe or America. The stages of different stages of developments took place in a different way, and as a result their appearance became different to each other. Just think, a man from Europe looks different from a man from Africa or Asia. And the profounder of the regional continuity model say that this difference has caused due to the differences in respect of the developments from one stage to the other stage. Another theory, it is called the replacement theory, and here it is said that the human beings originated at first in Asia and Africa, because the earliest fossils are found in these two continents only. And always remember, the early man had the habit of nomadism. They never stayed at a single place, never liked to be settled down in a single area. They used to live in groups. They used to roam from one place to another. They used to stay in a certain area for a certain period. They used to exploit the foods available in this area. Then when the food supply was finished, they used to leave the place and go for another place. This was the habit of the early man. So having this habit, they used to move from place to place, and in this way they reached to Asia and reached to America and Europe in much later time. And the climatic or difference of Asia and Africa had exerted influence on the biological appearance of the human being of Europe and Africa. Europe is a colder place. Naturally, the people who live over there or who developed themselves over there, they became fair. And Africa is a hot place. The sunshine is more powerful, and therefore the people who developed themselves there, they became darker and became of darker skins. And this theory is called the replacement theory. So students, this much for today. In our next class, we shall start the cultural evolution of human being, and the first topic that we shall discuss in our next class will be the ways of obtaining food. Thank you.